Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the show. I really didn't know what to call this, the Naked Show, or also my co-host today. Please introduce yourself.
Hi, my name is Tawana, and this show is called, well, technically, my show is called Truth Be Told. And we just want to make sure that we don't reach the surface level of things, that the truth always comes out with whatever we're talking about. And
Yeah.
that's like a similarity. It's something that's similar between both of our shows, basically. So, yeah.
All right, all right. And my show is called The Naked Show. It's just basically the naked
Hmm.
truth about everything, where the truth that no one likes to listen to. Actually, no one. They all know it's the truth, but then like, what's the point of telling this out loud? Nothing's gonna happen about it. Okay,
Mm,
and
yeah.
I just saw a post as well, where Tesla. Do you know what Tesla is?
Mhm. Of course, of course. The
Of
fancy
course.
cars that people be driving around in London
I
a
wouldn't
lot,
call
a
them
lot.
fancy cars. I would call them racist cars. Hmm.
Ooh, that's interesting.
Because that was the black employees there are facing a
Mhm.
hard time by rape. Racist abuse, basically. And it's like
Oh,
horrible. It's like, but this one guy though, he took up the trophy, he took up the mantle, and he was like, "Listen, I'm going to sue you guys." And guess what he got?
good.
You know what
What
he
he
got?
got?
He
What he got?
got, okay, $136.9 million because he
Hmm.
won the case.
That's like congratulations to him for winning the case.
He,
But I
he's,
also
he's,
feel
ret-
like he could
he's
have probably
retiring
won.
early.
Yeah, definitely, definitely with that amount. Yeah, but he could have probably won more because like Tesla is like $1 billion like type of company. They have a lot of money. And even
Yeah,
then, you have to then think, okay, even though it's great that he won the money, what about the other like black employers that were maybe too scared to say something? Like,
yeah,
is anything going to happen for them? Are they getting any sum of money? Are they getting any benefits for the future? Are we just allowing this sort of like behavior to carry on because this one guy got money and now it's like we can push it to the side sort
yeah.
of thing.
Of course,
Like
of
I'm
course.
just
And
wondering where did they go?
no, I mean, it's not an exact time to be racist at all, because it's something totally different now. Facing a different kind of war has been affecting the world basically for 2 years, all because of one guy who had a bet. But
Yeah.
and yeah, to be honest, it's not really acceptable, because it's there's a lot of things that's happening in the world right now. There are a lot of
Mhm.
things like, COVID is not just infecting uh the white skin, okay, and it's not, and it's leaving the other skins out. It doesn't make any sense, right? It's
Mhm.
affecting even the animals right now. So we clearly know what kind of the true enemy is. It's COVID-19, basically. Okay, it
Mhm.
keeps growing and growing and growing, and then suddenly when it's growing, it goes down in numbers.
Yeah.
Okay, and then after that, next thing you know, when you think it's all over, it climbs up again. Okay,
Yeah.
yeah,
No, that's
it's
true.
insane. It's basically insane. And
Yeah.
I really feel that, it's because, see, the last time when the worldwide lockdown came off, okay, we had to
Mhm.
face another tragedy, okay, where this just went next level, basically. George Floyd,
Yeah.
okay. And come on, that was a horrible thing to see after you've been let go, like, go out to the world again. And this is what we
Yeah.
do. We go back to what everyone would say, human nature.
Yeah. You'd think that people would like, after coming out, they'd want to be kinder to one another because we've been locked inside for so long. We've learned to like appreciate each other's companies, the value of a life. And
That's
yet for
right.
something like that to happen, of course it would cause like such major outrage because it sort of sparks the notion that even with everything that's gone on, this is
Yeah.
what we've still reverted to, as you've said. Like, is this the human nature of things? Can we not like move past this? Even after being locked inside for so long, you'd think it would give time to like reevaluate their racism, but apparently not.
No, of course not. Let's face it, okay? Whether we like it or not, we are fighting against basically, which is exactly one. It doesn't matter what country you are from. It doesn't matter what country I'm from. It's all
Mhm.
because like it's still one Earth. Okay, and
Mhm.
we have proven it to ourselves that there are more planets out there. Okay, I'm
Mhm.
afraid of an alien invasion. Okay, I actually am afraid of an alien invasion because as soon as they see what's happening down here, they're gonna be like, you know what? Well, let's give them a
Mhm.
few more years. They'll destroy themselves. Let's just watch. Get your popcorn,
Isn't it?
whatever they
Yeah.
call it in their country. You know, it's just that
Mhm.
that's the thing. You know, because it doesn't make sense.
Yeah, I feel like even with the alien invasion, I don't know if we'll get an alien invasion because I feel like if anything, we might destroy the world a bit too early on and they'll be like, "Oh, we can't do anything with this land now." Like if
Yeah,
you even look at it, when we were inside during the lockdown, the earth was able to like recover some of the damages that we had done to it. And that's through like no like human, participation, humans not working towards like cleaning up the rivers or stuff like that. As in waters and such were like cleaning themselves. And it just kind of shows like how, the, just how human participation in the world doesn't
yeah.
always lead to like the best things and such. So I don't know if the aliens want it, to be honest. Like we may
No,
look for another
yes.
planet.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but they'll just be like, oh, let's just show them an UFO and just get out of here, okay? Because we are
Yeah.
not coming there. Like,
Yeah. Like
that's all
scare
we
them a
got.
little.
Yeah,
True.
and we should like
And
not look at each other. Also, we should look at in the mirror and be like, shame on you for that. You know, we could have been the human race that defeated the aliens, but you no, you had to go and defeat yourselves.
No, that is so true. That is so true. Especially with like all these like, Marvel type movies. I guess it asks the question of like if there actually was, an alien invasion, who would realistically step up? And like what is the answer that we've got? The military. Like,
Yeah,
do we even know what side the military is on sometimes? Like not to get too controversial, but it's just like and we
yeah.
don't even know what's going on with like their UFO scheme as well and what they've planned with that. Like just a little bit too secretive for my liking. Like I would also like to know what area is it Area 51 means? Like,
Area 51, Area 51. Yes, it apparently doesn't exist, but in the movies it does.
yeah, I don't know if I believe that because they've mentioned it a lot in the
No, it
movies.
exists. I mean, to be honest, like, okay, or not half, I would say 99.9% of YouTube videos are fake
Mm-hmm.
aliens. But there is this one video which I really can't take my mind off. It looks so real. Okay, there's no way a human can actually fit into that body. Okay,
Mm,
and it's just or even control it. It's so real. And I'm like, okay, this could be that video that got leaked from NASA. There are aliens. And
wow.
apparently, that's not an alien. That is a person from the future of Earth.
Oh,
And he
okay.
doesn't look
Time
anything like a
travel.
human. You know?
Time travel. That's an interesting concept. I feel like especially when you see films like where is it? Oh, Interstellar with Matthew McConaughey and how they
Mhm.
sort of, or even like The Martian, and how they showed that, with the way that technology is progressing, we'll get to a point where we'll be able to travel into space, we'll be able to technically go into the future, not necessarily by time traveling, but because like the concept of time in space is so different to like the
That's right.
concept of time here on Earth. It's like by the time they come back, we would have already been so far in the future, whereas they would have maybe experienced like 7 hours or something in space, whereas it could be like decades compared to here on Earth. So, like,
Yeah.
yeah, I feel like that's an interesting, topic of discussion because I feel like there's so much that we don't necessarily know that NASA have been doing. Like, they've been quiet for a while. So, they've probably
They've been
done
quite,
something.
yeah. They
Yeah,
have.
definitely
They
something
have.
really cool.
Hmm. I wonder what would happen. I always wonder what an alien would look like. And I'm
Mhm.
wondering. The weird thing about NASA is it's so funny that they try to control what's happening in the Earth and what the universe sends our way, and whether it's an alien spaceship or anything like that. And I'm wondering what power do they have to hide the truth.
Mm,
So what?
that's
What if an alien spaceship lands in my backyard? I'm gonna be like, hello, and
isn't
I don't
it?
know. that might be my last. That might be like my last day on Earth. Because I'm like,
Yeah,
oh, he
that
saw
is so
the alien.
true.
He should die.
Yeah. That is so true. And what's so interesting as well about that is that while like NASA in like America is very secretive, I actually saw a post in the news today that mentioned that in Russia they're planning to
Uh-huh.
film their first ever movie in space, like actually in space, not like CGI, not pretend, but they want to get like a
The real
crew
deal.
up there, they want to get actors up there, cameras and the lot and actually film there. And I thought, how is America gonna let that happen? Because, like,
Uh-huh.
seeing as America didn't even let Russia be the first people to land on the moon, I figured,
Yeah,
okay, America is probably going to want to say that they were the first people ever as well to actually film up there. So surely, if something like that is happening, there needs to be more of an open discussion of like, how is it going to be possible? Who are you going to send up? Are they going to be actors? Are they going to be actual trained professionals that just maybe do acting on the side? What type of movie would it be? Like I know it's gonna be a space
exactly.
film, like what type of space film? Is there gonna be romance? Is there gonna be a thriller? Like is it gonna be, a bit of a superhero type of action movie? Like there's just so much to like discuss with that
Yeah.
whole genre
Yeah.
of thing.
Actually, and I'm wondering if it's actually going to cost $200 million for that, because apparently, if you do want to go to space, or even to orbit the Earth, and also I think for 4 whole minutes or
Oh,
hours, I really can't remember. It's very ridiculous. You have to spend $220 million just to do that.
wow.
Yeah.
And yet, Jeff,
Suddenly the universe is ours, and that we can put a price on it now. And I'm like,
isn't it? What? The one thing which you thought they couldn't put a price tag on, the thing that
yeah,
they technically don't own because they can't like lock it down, they
yeah.
still want to charge for it. It doesn't make sense. And like on top of that, isn't Jeff Bezos literally going to go to space with his brother? And even the concept of Jeff Bezos, just he as a person, just he boggles my mind because of all those riches that he has, he wants to use it to go to space on a mission where he may not come back from. And I'm just thinking, there's charities out there. There's
Mhm.
charities you can realistically give to. Like there's
Because
better things to do with his money.
exactly. You know why? Fix your Earth first before you go and looking for another one.
No, exactly. Like
Uh,
I saw this video where it showed like I think they used grains of rice to showcase Jeff Bezos' wealth, and it's like even if he used like some of like a bit of his money to like go towards ending world hunger in like Africa, he'd still have so much left that it wouldn't even make a dent. And yet you just sort of look at it and it's like, why doesn't he? Like at all. Like he's so greedy, and it's like with that type of greed, okay, I hope he has a fun time in space. Like he doesn't need to come back. Like, oh, where's
no,
that
and
money
it's not
going?
like we're telling you what to do with your money. We are not telling you, oh, no, we agree it's your success. But come on, man, be a man and just help the Earth first. All
Isn't
right.
it?
I mean,
Isn't it?
okay, but we're practically begging them. Okay, you got the
Mm-hmm.
money. Okay, but who gets charged is the people, other people, people who actually don't
Exactly.
have that kind of money. And suddenly we're
Mm-hmm.
like, really, you have this much of billionaires, and suddenly they can't do like pay for the entire country, or basically, and then start actually giving some water to a couple of places which actually need water.
Mm-hmm.
Like Africa, for crying out loud. How long has that been going? Okay, come on, we could have
Exactly.
stopped that, right? We could have stopped the people. That it's saddening to see the children, and you can only see bones and skin, and
Mm-hmm.
it's so
No,
sad.
exactly.
It's really
Exactly.
sad. And then suddenly, but I achieved something. I went to space, and I orbited, and I came back in 4 whole minutes. Really, bro? Come on,
No,
right?
exactly. I think it's quite
Right up.
tragic, especially. Hmm? Oh, I was
That,
gonna say it's quite tragic, especially when you see like the conditions that some of these Amazon workers work in as well. Like, because my friends, they actually worked at like one of the Amazon warehouses in London, and like just like the way they have to do long shifts, their breaks are so short. They work in a very like heated like conditions. There's barely any like any air coming in through like the workhouse and such. And it's like these are the conditions that your people work in. It's basically like it can be compared to like child labor in like third world countries, can't lie, because those conditions are really intolerable. Like, and it's like this guy has so much money that he could really do a lot with, like, in terms of like how they're paid, the conditions that they're working in. It just shows like the little like care he has. And I don't want to say I now know Jeff Bezos and I know what he's about and I know what he's going through. Okay, I don't. But it's like you can see by the way his like riches, his businesses have impacted other people. Like, yeah, we're grateful for Amazon, but like to what extent? If he's like really not contributing to our society or like the people working for him, like what does he do? What's the point in him? I don't get it.
Well, the basic thing is, especially like something like this, is because even something as saddening as, people not having water, people not having food to eat, is also
Mhm.
something of a profit. So
Mm,
there's always profit involved. Even if I have 200, if Jeff Bezos came and gave me $200 million right now, I'll still want a $200 million tomorrow, right? Because see,
mm,
I this $200 million, although it's so much, it's not going to be enough even for 5 years. With the things going up in prices and everything, suddenly the earth we were born to, we are being
mhm.
charged to, and suddenly maybe the oxygen tanks will be coming up soon. We'll have to breathe, we'll have to
Yeah.
pay for oxygen. And there's this
Mhm.
movie which I always forget, okay, but it's on the forearm. They have their time.
Yeah.
It's a digital time
Oh
on their
yeah.
forearm. Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah, yeah.
think I
And
know which one you mean.
I can't
Watched it a
remember
while
what.
ago.
Yeah, and so it's basically how much time you have left. If when once it
Yeah.
hits zero, you're dead, right?
Yeah.
And
And then
but the
there's
thing
someone like
is,
buying time or selling time.
buying time uh, buying time. I think he's
I think
always buying. That this character is
yeah.
always going to. He goes to casinos to get more time. Okay,
Mm,
and suddenly the first thing that I came into my head was, no, this proves that money is absolutely worth it.
mm,
He
mm.
pays everything with time. Whether
Yeah.
he wants to buy a car, it's going to cost you 2 years. I'm like, 2 years. He's basically
Yeah.
he's giving out his life so as to get a car. And then I'm like, I
Mm,
don't want a car now. I'll walk. You know what? I'm gonna
yeah.
cherish every step of the way. That's what I'm gonna do. And
Yeah.
suddenly money is useless, but still, money is the root of all evil.
Yeah, no, that's true. That is so
Yeah.
true.
You and
And
I
I
can
feel
be
like,
talking about this. You and I can be like, listen, dude, I get it. Dude, if I
yeah.
was Jeff Bezos, can you feed Africa for crying out loud?
Mm,
Okay. Okay. Yeah, take this money. I don't want it. Take it. That's
yeah.
what I would do. But there are two different kinds of people in the world, unfortunately. The ones who
Mhm.
would do what I did and the ones who would not do what I did.
Yeah, exactly. Because, like, there's some people, like, I feel like with all the people in the world, what we don't even realize is there's a lot more Jeff Bezos in the world that are just not really publicly known and their
Mhm.
names aren't necessarily out there. But, they're out there in the world. They're the ones that are contributing to, all these different, like, media outlets that we have, to some of
Yeah.
these businesses that are owned, to even some of, like, the political like standings of certain countries, like they're out there and they're running things in the background, but we don't necessarily have enough research or enough information on them to necessarily put a name to their faces. Because if you sort of think about it, like some people, like there's a lot of these people like Rupert Murdoch and such who were rich before they were necessarily known. A lot of these people come from like wealthy backgrounds, from a wealthy like upbringing and such. And yet, just because maybe there isn't a news article written about them, it just means that us as a public, we don't know about them. And that's how they prefer it because it means that they have their riches, which they can spend without anyone judging them on their money and where it's going and what they have to do with it and such. So, like, we blame Jeff Bezos, but there's a lot of other people out there in the world to blame. There's a lot of other riches that aren't accounted for that we don't even
Yeah,
know about, but they're
of
there
course. I mean,
because,
when we point out something like, listen, dude, you're spending $200 million just to go to space for 4 minutes. Okay, I would just watch a movie or something. I would watch it on YouTube, right?
yeah,
But then again, there are also other people who should have been doing something else,
mm,
like Richard Branson, for crying out loud. Okay. The minute I saw this space thing, I was like, okay, finally, we are achieving space. Oh, wait a minute. We haven't achieved our Earth yet.
Mm,
We
that's a
haven't
good
earned the
point.
trust of the Earth. I don't think so. You
Yeah,
know,
because what have we done? What have we done
what
to
happened?
earn that trust?
What, no, exactly what I mean, you know?
Not enough. No, that's so true. Definitely not enough. And like
Exactly.
even in terms of like green initiatives that are
Mm,
out there, it always seems to sort of be like the citizens that are supporting it, like just like middle class, lower class are the ones that are moving it. So like even like Extinction Rebellion, I don't know if you've heard them, they're like quite a powerful like activism group
I can
where
say by the name that they are.
yeah, they are. They'll literally
I felt
stop
like I want to join
trending.
this.
Ah, no, very debatable. Like I get the message which they are like putting out there, but they are
Yeah.
very like I feel like they're very tough with their ways. So like they'll stop like trains, they'll stop traffic, they'll literally like hold up like streets of people to get their message across, which
Wow.
can, obviously it gets the word out there. All publicity is good publicity. It's
Mhm.
just to the extent where it's like I remember I was like walking through the city of Cambridge and then there was these like two well, one white male and one white female, and they were sitting in the street, and then they had this like extension rebellion like sign on them, and there was six police cars. Like, mind you, the traffic in Cambridge is so bad already, but there was six police like cars slash vans, and they were just looking at them, and I'm like, okay, pick them up then. Like, what is this traffic? Like, just pick them up, and it's like they did nothing. They literally did nothing. And I thought, okay, but if that was low key like a black man sitting on the street, you wouldn't have even hesitated to like use force or anything. Like, this is very interesting. That's why I find Extinction Rebellion interesting. I'm sure there's also like colored people that are part of their team, but I just feel like they get away with a lot of things because they are like predominantly white
Yeah.
type of group. So
But it's
yeah,
okay to get a tan on a Sunday morning, though.
well, 100%. Well,
That's the other thing. That's the other stupid thing I always see. I'm like, what's wrong with our people? You know what? Have
mhm.
everyone been dropped as a baby and knock their head or something? I mean,
Maybe.
really, it's just gone crazy. And I'm
Mm,
like, dude, what are you doing? It's like this is insane. You know? I mean,
mhm.
listen, this person was born this color, so but I'm gonna get this color on a Sunday. And I'm like,
Yeah, isn't it? And isn't it weird? Because like there's an actual term for that now, and that term is called blackfishing, and it's basically when people of like a lighter skin tone, predominantly white people, aim to get a darker skin tone, and then they don't just adopt the skin tone, but they'll adopt like the culture, they'll adopt the appearance, well, not just appearance, but like their hair as well, they'll change it, their clothes, they'll change it, maybe they'll get cheek fillers, lip fillers, the whole lot. And then they'll just sort of like they'll try to pass as someone that's either racially ambiguous or like someone of like a darker, race, ethnicity. But the thing is, they also won't explicitly say that they are from like, they won't say that they're black. That way they can reap the benefits of being, like double toned, two toned, I guess. So like some days they can decide, yeah, I want to be white today because I got to get like my job, got to get my paycheck. And then maybe
eh,
on social media, there'll be something else. So then they can market to these other, other ethnic groups and gain sympathy in that way. And it's just like, it boggles my mind. It boggles my mind. But a lot of people have gotten away with it. And
yeah,
it's shocking. It's so shocking.
it's shocking.
Like,
And
I
it's
think
like,
there was even
even
a
if you hear
challenge.
the second time, you're gonna be like, what on earth is wrong with you? You know, it keeps shocking you every time you hear. I'm like, what? You know, come
Mhm,
on, stop it.
100%.
You know, I mean,
I know.
hey, people use it as like a joke. You know, okay, fine, you've watched the movies, you've seen how it went, you've seen the one person who fought for their freedom. They got the freedom, but it seems like his dream was only sort of short lived. Okay, and it's
Mm,
like now suddenly everyone's doing it in some parts of the world, and I'm like, hello, you guys remember Nelson Mandela? Hello, the guy who fought for
yeah.
freedom and he won. Basically, what's wrong with you? Basically, I would say people who do that, okay, are basically people who really can't take a joke, okay, and also people who really have no idea what they're doing,
Yeah.
and people who can't take a loss, I would say. you know
Mm,
it's
that's
mostly the jealous people always doing this and that. It's always that type. And it's always, oh, I wish I could climb the tree like he did, but I
yeah.
can't. And then suddenly you can either be like, oh, maybe there's something else for me, but another person would
Mhm.
think, I'm no, he can't do that, I can't do it, I want to do it, okay, but no, since I can't do it, I want to make sure he never does it again. So
Yeah.
free will is gone, man.
No, that's so true. And like even today, like in university, we were sort of discussing like who does like who does this benefit? So like things like racism, who does that realistically benefit? And then there's the book, I don't know if you've heard of it, but it's called Why I No Longer Talk About Race to White People. And like basically in that book, the author had discussed that basically racism is like, not just prejudice, but it's also actively holding someone else down. And it's like that idea where, okay, as you said, like, okay, because this person can't do it and maybe I can't do it, or like even if this person can do it and I can't do it, I'm going to make sure they're not able to do it now. And that's sort of like the system that, places like the UK have sort of been built up upon. Like, people want to complain, this person has my job, this person's doing this, but this person's doing that. So they'll want to moan about this, rant about this, kick these people out, push these people to the side. But then it gets to a point where because they're not doing it, other people aren't doing it. And that's like mainly like the main issue that we've had with like, fuel being imported to the country. Like,
Hmm.
as in everyone wanted to kick out the people that were or not allow these European drivers to work in our countries. But now it's like who is there to import the fuel? So now even British drivers aren't able to work because they don't
Yeah.
have a means of transport. Like it just doesn't make sense. Like why we push people down when
Nothing
really.
makes sense because, like you said, when you said system, I just got activated, and I'm suddenly sitting because we are part of a system.
Mm,
Okay, we are part of a big system, and also something about I spoke about this last time, a few days ago actually, and I was like, the system. If you take a CPU, it's not entirely perfect.
mm,
Okay, it's not entirely perfect. There's always a few bugs. There's always at least one bug in the system. And so the
mm,
people who actually, in this case, so the people who actually think that there is a system involved and we need to get out of it are the bugs. Okay,
yeah.
and sometimes what do we do with bugs on our CPU? We ignore them. We get used to it,
Mm,
basically. We're gonna be like, oh, this bug works like this. Okay, oh, I need to press this so it goes like that, but I can't do it the normal way because there's a bug in the system. But he
yeah.
has understood the bug, and now he's just letting the bug be.
Mm,
It's we can't speak. Unfortunately, we want to get out of the system, but it's very hard to get out of because sometimes you're doing exactly what the system wants you to do, if there is a
yeah.
system. Okay, and if there is something, it's like, hey, you guys protest. All right, you are in a system, yes, try to
Hmm.
get people to come out of the system. You people will ignore the living daylights out of these people and just go on with your day. That's
Yeah.
basically it. Even this
No,
I could be, I'm basically recorded to say this. I don't know, who knows
no,
what
I
I'm
get
gonna
what
do,
you mean.
because yeah.
Because, like, especially like with this whole, like, okay, you guys riot, you get some people out of the system, but at the end of the day, unless you like leave the whole country or something like that, it's like you can't really be out of the system. You'll just be part of those in the system that maybe want to rebel to it. But even then, they have a statistic based on people like you in that group, in that genre. And it's something that, we've seen over like the years in history. And like we know that protests and riots, can get at least like the governments talking, can get people in upper classes talking, members of parliament talking. But it's also a thing of like we tend to like revert to how life was before the riots, before the protests and stuff like that. Like they can make impact, but the amount of times you have to riot and protest for something, just one thing over and over again, just to get that result you want is honestly just it's jarring. Like I look at people like some of these activists, I'm like, don't you get tired? Like bravo to them for not getting tired and sticking with the cause. Because imagine being ignored for that many times and then
And still, like,
eventually,
still
yeah,
going on, I mean.
Yeah, and
That's
then you get like maybe an inch further. But even then, an inch is like better than nothing. Like it's really rewarding to see like how far like some people have come with like, what they have done with their movements that they've made, with the strides that they've taken to just even inform people, educate people on what we can do better. Like as a society, we really can like do a lot. It just depends on like, the numbers of things and such,
exactly,
like the numbers
exactly.
supporting.
Well said. Well said indeed. But see, the thing is, eventually I would say that, that was well said. But again, there is the risk of being ignored again. We could be doing this for the whole
Mhm.
world here. Probably all
Yeah.
7 billion people will come here. Okay. And suddenly there'll be also people who are loving what we are saying. And then also there are also people who will be like, here's the war again. I'll be waiting for this day. And then they start the war.
Yeah. No,
This is the
definitely.
loop we are all stuck in.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. But I guess it's good to like, get your point across, get your point out either way. Even if you're speaking and you feel like no one's listening, like eventually there'll probably be that one person listening and it will grow to two people, three people. It's like starting like a radio show or starting a YouTube channel. Even though you don't know who's going to listen, you know that you have something important to say. So you say it anyway, and then you just hope that, you see the benefits sooner rather than later. You don't want to be one of
Yeah,
those people where they've died before they've seen how they've made an impact in the world. But even then, at least there's the idea that you could have like potentially made an impact. Yeah.
that's true. That's true. That is, well, as I say, the naked truth. Okay. What would you say it like? Let's see. Let's see. What's your tagline? Come on, I want to know.
No, that's good. Like the naked truth. I would have said like that's the truth would have come out either way, but I like that. I like how you said the naked truth. It's like a little combination of the two.
Yeah, actually, because see, it's just the truth, but unfortunately, though, while we run the world like this, it's nothing just but the truth. That's all it is, and it
Yeah,
can't do
yeah.
anything else, unfortunately.
Well,
Anyway, I mean, it's been great. That's been an interesting topic, I would say. And thank you so much as well, and for joining in. And hope you have, well, I hope we do this again sometime, speaking more about the truth as well, and probably
mhm.
expose the system if we can try getting out of being a bug and, be an actual part of the system and all that. And right. And so, and for all of you tuned in as well, keep it locked, keep it tuned in. This is, well, I'm going to say mine, then you do it. This is The Naked Show with Kyle and.
Truth be told, with Twana over here.
All right. You guys have a good night now.